The N-Zap was king. It roared into the meta in 3.1.0, with Tacticooler effectively countering Inkjet and becoming a staple of all team comps. Every team needed a cooler weapon, and Zap was simply the perfect fit. It had high mobility with an amazing paint output and decent fighting ability. For a long time, there wasn't any better weapon in the game, nevertheless, another cooler weapon. But that dominance would slowly start to fade. The meta has changed a lot since then. The splatter shot and its Trizuka is now the meta weapon, with Inkjet being pushed back further in tier lists. Tacticooler has been nerfed, and new weapons with new kits have been released. So with the degrading supremacy of N-Zap, has it finally been outclassed? Let's find out. To begin, we need to look at what N-Zap does. It is a support-style shooter class with Section Bomb and Tacticooler. Section Bomb functions much like it does in Splattershot, giving it poking power, a way to camp super jumps, and a strong displacement tool. However, the main weapon itself is objectively worse at fighting than Splattershot, with a lower damage per second and similar range and shot spread. So how did N-Zap ever get better than Splattershot? Tacticooler. While Zap is worse at fighting, it is superior at painting and getting out special, and Zap was blessed with the best special in the game. Tacticooler offers a variety of movement and respawn buffs to the team, making pushes not only more likely to succeed, but also reducing the cost of fighting by negating downtime and quick respawn and special saver. Being able to constantly get this powerful special out was massive, as it also genuinely gave the N-Zap a fighting chance. Instead of directly being outclassed by Splattershot and having to play smartly around it, it could genuinely win a defensive fight, and on the offense, could flank easier due to much faster speeds. Furthermore, with a losing fight suddenly becoming vastly less punishing, N-Zap could actually rival frontline weapons in the right situations, giving it some multi-role ability like Splash-O-Matic. Now, just because the N-Zap has those benefits, it doesn't mean that it was always meta. In the beginning of the game's meta, Crab Tank was extremely dominant, and many teams would be running multiple crabs. Tacticooler itself was also weaker at this time, and a common tactic to deal with it would be just running away, painting for crab and retaking space once the buffs had timed out using Crab Tank. Also, Tacticooler required players to actually go get the cooler, and created a spot where the team would bunch up, which allowed a bomb, Crab Tank, Explosher, or Blaster an easy time getting picks and effectively negating any benefit the cooler offered. For these reasons, N-Zap was rarely used throughout the first and second seasons of the game, along with almost every other cooler weapon. Even if the N-Zap wasn't used much throughout the second season, that is where its rise would begin. In 2.0.0, the points per special was decreased from 200 to 190. An already high painting weapon just got even faster at getting its special while needing to use less turf to do so. Special output increased, but the special still wasn't useful. 2.1.0 then made Tacticooler's quick respawn and special saver effects no longer negated by Respawn Punisher and Haunt. There is now a niche in countering E-Leaders and other Respawn Punisher weapons for the cooler, but it still was generally not particularly useful in competitive play. This is still the case in version 3.0.0, decreasing points per special again to 180. Still, the Tacticooler had yet to see widespread usage in the competitive scene, and N-Zap continued relatively unused. 3.1.0 would spin this on its head. The setup speed for Tacticooler was increased by 33%, allowing it to be thrown farther than before, and the radius for grabbing a drink was doubled. Not only could Tacticooler be placed in better positions than before, the team also didn't have to bunch up as much around the Tacticooler to still get its effects. Along with the decline of Crab Tank, Tacticooler suddenly looked like a very strong special. Still, 3.1.0 would be the update to bring in Inkjet meta. With many major buffs, Inkjet rapidly became the best special, and Ballpoint the best splatling or main weapon for that matter. And that actually made Tacticooler even better. Inkjet provided the user no protection, and often threw them right into active danger, and Tacticooler's quick respawn and special saver made it far safer to use the Inkjet. Also, with N-Zap being so strong, Tacticooler offered a way to get back in the fight quickly after dying to N-Zap, effectively blunting the enemy push and offering the chance for a second fight. Then came 4.0.0. This update truly cemented Tacticooler as a premier special of Splatoon. The duration of Tacticooler's effects was increased by 2 seconds, and Special Power-Up's ability became stronger at lower levels, making Tacticooler easily the strongest weapon in the game. It was so strong that some teams even tried double cooler comps, but due to the sheer duration of Tacticooler's effects, it was found to be far less successful than double crab. This is the golden age of the N-Zap, seeing a near constant use from every team, and truly taking the meta in a completely new direction. 4.1.0 came next. Even though the N-Zap was buffed with its shot spread decreasing, this is the update to dethrone it. Because Splattershot also got the exact same buff, as well as a Bazooka buff. The Trizooka's 40 damage explosions now did 60 damage, making it quickly the strongest special in the game. Not only was the special easier to hit, it was now harder to avoid, had significantly more value, and latter Bazookas blindly sent over walls were genuinely beginning to win matches. While N-Zap was still strong and a good counter to Splattershot, there was just nothing it could do about the sheer force of Trizooka. Finally, 5.0.0 released, increasing Tacticooler cooldown from 7.5 to 10 seconds, and increasing the points per special for the N-Zap by 10 points back to 190. The Trizooka was now completely dominant in the meta, and had become the staple feature of competitive play. The sheer displacement ability and splatting potential of it made it objectively the best special, and the stronger than ever Splattershot made for the best kit in the entire game. With the amount of Tacticoolers N-Zap could get out hampered by this nerf, Splattershot was really able to gain a lot of ground in this update. Finally, N-Zap got what it always wanted. 5.1.0 decreased Trizooka damage from 60 to 53, and new weapon kits have given the Splattershot some competition. However, N-Zap and Tacticooler weren't touched. This puts the N-Zap in a far better position in the meta, and it once again was becoming a dominant weapon. Then, 6.1.0 released. The damage per shot was increased from 28 to 30, which makes it now combo with Suction Bomb. This is extremely useful for the N-Zap and gives it better fighting ability, but the points per special was increased to 200. While this did make N-Zap much better at fighting than before, it made its main purpose, getting Tacticoolers out, less efficient, which was an interesting rework from Nintendo. Still, this leaves N-Zap in a very enviable position compared to its competition. It is still able to hold its own in a fight, and still produces the most Tacticoolers out of any cooler weapon, but it is facing some harsh competition, this time not from other weapon types, but from other cooler weapons. Tri-Slosher is also able to provide a large amount of coolers, usually 5 to 7 per game, but also comes with far greater fighting ability in the fact that it's a bucket and has all the special advantages of a bucket. Also competing for N-Zap's position is Snipe Rider, another very high painting weapon with absurd range and high cooler output. Overall though, they don't eclipse N-Zap like it once did. Instead, they offer alternatives based on what a team needs. If it needs more frontlining capability, they choose Tri-Slosher. If they need a backline, or if the support player needs to play more aggressive, a team can choose Snipe Rider. Or if the team needs raw paint output and support for their frontliners, N-Zap fits the bill perfectly. Overall though, N-Zap has ebbed in and out of the top position. I believe we sit in the position of N-Zap being one of the 4 best weapons, those being Splattershot, Tri-Slosher, Snipe Rider, and the Zap itself. They all fit the 4 weapon roles, backline, support, midline, and skirmisher, extremely well and manage to be the best of their type. Team compositions are usually balanced in these types, leaving the meta in one of the best positions it's ever been in, with a very high amount of weapon diversity and extremely unique top tiers.